Welcome back to the 13th grade. Today, I want to talk to you about the jobs that we take and their ability to scale, not necessarily in impact, like we talked about in other videos, and like, does our position impact, millions of people, hundreds of millions of people, a billion people, or one person, but does it allow us to branch out and to scale into other things? All right, guys. So today I want to talk to you about a concept, or in this video, I want to talk to you about a concept that we did touch base on just, a little bit in the video, but I think it should use its standalone, needs its standalone lesson in that the jobs that you create, if we are going to be trying to move from employee from ES business owner in investor, the cash flow quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, if the ultimate goal is that we're trying to move from maybe an employee to self-employed and then to business owner and then to investor, we ultimately know that, and we know of like diversification is actually a very good thing, not necessarily only in our investments, but just in businesses in general, because it makes things more stable. We should start to think about the careers that we choose, the income sources that we have, and does our position allow us to scale in multiple different ways and multiple different branches? Now, not not all degrees or not all jobs can actually do this, but if it can, it may be the tipping point in us choosing one career path over the other career path. So, best way to explain to you, if I took two different positions, so here we have on the left side is let's just say a real estate agent with their little sold sign, and the right side is a doctor. And so if you were going to go to typical parents and if you're going to like working class parents or unwealthy parents, you might go to them and say, hey, what do you want to do with your career? Like, how do you want to earn income? And if you said to them, well, you know what, I'm going to go be a doctor because I know like, doctors make good money or whatever. They might be thinking like, oh, this is great. Like my son or daughter is going to be absolutely rich. They're going to be a doctor. Maybe your parents are just like mine were like an auto mechanic or whatever. And they're like, oh, if you're a doctor, you're going to be making, 200, $300,000 a year, $500,000 a year. You're going to make a tremendous amount of money. Like this is really great. And you should have a really good lifestyle. And for the most part, as long as that doctor doesn't go and spend all of their money, once they make that income, like they're gonna make a good income, and if they put a little bit of money away, like they'll have a decent retirement, right? However, what a wealthy family might say, or a 1% family might say, is like, well, um, okay, a doctor's okay. Were you thinking about opening up your own practice? Like they're already going to be thinking about scale, right? So on the flip side, if you went to the same working class family and you said, "Hey, I think, I think I want to be a real estate agent," right? The same family could be looking at the person that says, "Oh, congratulations, you should be a doctor." They might even say to you, like, "Are you sure that's what you want to do? Like, you don't want to go to college and like get something?" And like real estate agents very hard, and like a lot of them don't make a whole lot of money, and like whatever. They might even shoo you away from doing that because a real estate agent is kind of looked at like maybe like a, I don't know, like a just kind of an icky job, right? Like a car salesman or whatever. It's like not really like a respectable career. You're not a doctor, attorney, or something like that. However, a wealthy family might be like, "Oh, that's cool. That's awesome." And if you said that to us, and as in my children said to me, and they're like, "Hey, what do you want to do for, a career?" And my children were like, one of them was like, "Well, I want to be a builder," and the other one's like, "Well, I want to sell homes like mama," or whatever. And we were like, "Absolutely, that sounds awesome." Because I'm like, if you're going to build homes and one's going to build homes and one's going to sell the homes, you guys can partner up. Both of those are hugely scalable. Both of those have severe tax, benefits of them. And both of them will outpace or outmake a doctor 1,000 times over if they play the same amount of effort. And this is probably another thing to touch on. And I see this all the time. It's like people are like, oh, real estate agents don't work at, don't make as much as a doctor. Well, okay, the average one does because the average real estate agent doesn't do the work like a doctor. But if you take the two identical people, meaning the person with the exact same type of work ethic, one puts the work ethic to becoming a doctor, and so they spend, 12, 14 years or whatever becoming a doctor. If the same person puts the same amount of effort, instead of studying, but like grinding and working and doing whatever they can to develop their real estate business, and they do that for 12 years, I can almost assure you that that person that's been in real estate for 12 years is going to outpace that doctor like double or triple potentially, right? But that's not the point of this video. The point of the video is this lesson is I want you to start to think about what can you do with that degree with the idea of having maximum impact, again, not just in the people you serve, but in what can that expand to. So both a real estate agent and the doctor both are kind of just working with one person. Their impact is kind of low. One is really highly skilled, the doctor, but they're only impacting one person, not that big of a deal. One of them is kind of a low skilled real estate agent, like it's just, it is what it is. It's not as sophisticated as a doctor, and you're only dealing with one person's. And so they're going to potentially make less money. But what we know is low skilled, high impact can actually mean a tremendous amount more money than the high skilled, low impact, right? And so when I start to think about, like, if I was to write on a sheet of paper, right? And I would do this if you're thinking about any career, thinking about going any direction, your parent, your kids are thinking about it, whatever, is I would just write doctor and I would say, okay, your income is going to be, whatever, 300,000 or whatever. And I would encourage you to go look it up and get the exact stats. And then I would sit there and I would say, okay, now what else could that doctor potentially do? Okay, well, they could, I guess they could develop their own practice, right? They could go from employee to self-employed. That's probably pretty expensive because you need a building and you need medical equipment and then you need all the licensors and then you got to build a business and then you got to, get it like that sounds like a lot of work. If they were a doctor and they were self-employed and maybe they were, or if they were a doctor and they're employed and maybe they were in some sort of area like just general health, maybe they could come up with some sort of supplement or something like that they could also sell, but they'd probably have to get the permission of the doctor they work for, the hospital they work for to do that. So for the most part, I'm gonna say if you're gonna become a doctor, you're just gonna be doctoring, okay? And so that's one way. And so I'd say the branches to expand into other things aren't necessarily 100% limiting, but they're kind of 100% limited, right? Now, the other side is real estate. Okay. Now, if I said in real estate, and if you actually talk to any real estate agent, almost all of them, especially early on, are doing like just other things, right? And so if I said, real estate, if I was a real estate agent, what other things could you potentially do in real estate that could eventually maybe like, I don't know, scale your business or it could be additional source of income. You'll see this a lot on social media. People are like, oh, I have 7 streams of income. You need 5 different streams of income or whatever to be successful, whatever. So the first one was real estate. Now, I'll just talk to you about the jobs that we do and what we're pursuing because I think it's the easiest versus us just to have in this brainstorming session here forever. Okay. So we are real estate agents. Not only are we just a real estate agent, but then we decided to be a brokerage. Okay. Now, moving from employee or being self-employed basically is what you are already, but coming from just by yourself, like self-employed just by yourself, to then being a business owner, what that means is that you're able to have other people make money for you. So as we expand to be a brokerage, not only are we making our own commissions and our income through our own sales, right? But in addition to that, we're then going out and recruiting other agents, and then we earn like a split off of them. So if they sell a house, they get $10,000 commission. We might get 1,000 of that. And we have expenses and insurance and things like that, but that's kind of works. Because we are a real estate agent and we work primarily with investors, we also have a property management company. Okay. Now that property management company produces almost as not as almost about 50% of what our actual real estate business does. Because when you do with property management, like when you sell a house, that's one time thing. But if I manage that property after I sell it for the next 10, 20, 30 years, that book of business tends to grow and grow and grow and grow. Okay. With that, so those are the primary business we do. With the property management business, if you got it to a larger scale, okay, you could actually then start to bring your own trades in-house. So you could bring, I say trades, let's just say plumbing, electrical, maybe not electrical, plumbing definitely, AC definitely, yeah, potentially electrical, lawn services, house cleaning, all of those. You could bring all of those in-house. So now I'm a real estate agent. I have a brokerage. I have multiple agents that are working for us. I'm also operating a property management company. And because that property management company is so large, like I have so many lawns that we're actually mowing every single month that I've actually had other that I'm hiring out and the ACs are always breaking and the plumbing's and like so we always have things that are going out. I could actually hire contractors that are coming in and I could actually just have them on payroll because I have them on payroll, let's say I have an AC guy and a plumbing guy and I have a whatever, I could take them, not only could they do jobs for us, right? But then they could actually do jobs for other people. Like I could actually take my marketing team and I could have that plumbing company both work for us primarily. But if we weren't able to keep him busy, we can actually send him out. In the same way, a plumbing company person that wanted to do their own plumbing business, like we could just make a plumbing business. So underneath a property management company, we could have a plumbing company, an AC company, a lawn mowing service company, and so forth. Within the real estate business, as our brokerage grows, we're going to have to take a lot more photos for listings. So we could actually bring in a photographer. We could bring a photographer on staff, and we could actually sell out photography services by not only having our agents all use that particular photographer and earning a little bit of money off of it, but we could actually sell it to other agents. We could purchase or acquire a mortgage company. We could purchase or acquire an insurance company. Within the real estate, because we were doing a lot of listings, we do something called staging. Staging is where you, like if a house is vacant, you bring furniture in and we set it there to make it look good. That's actually quite expensive. If we had enough properties that it would make sense, we could actually stage our own properties. But if we had all that furniture, we might as well sell out those services to other people. So staging. And so the point is that you could begin to see how just something as just like I'm a real estate agent could be like, oh, now I have a team of agents that work for me. I'm a brokerage to now I have a property management. When the property management's growing, now I have all the trades and all of those are separate businesses and so I can have multiple different things that are going on. And when that one lead comes in, which is the real estate buy and sell person, like they're going to use my trades, they could potentially use my lawn service. They could like they all the same leads used by everyone, right? When I purchase a plumbing company, when I need to have services done on some of our properties, I might be able to get cheaper rates because I own the company. And because I get cheaper rates, then I can maybe offer my property management services at a lower rate because I think or they're more attractive to even attract more property management companies because I have cheaper service or cheaper work orders. So when something breaks, it doesn't cost my owners as much money because our people are all on staff. So just two different examples, and one of them is probably more of an extreme versus the one that's a little bit more simple. Of course, a doctor can do some things, but if you think about all the things that a real estate agent touches, a brokerage itself can be a multi-million dollar business. An agent can sell over $1 million a year. We do. Okay. A property management company can be a multi-million dollar business. Plumbing, AC, electric, HVAC, lawn services, cleaning services can all be multi-million dollar companies in themselves. Staging, probably not so much, few hundred thousand, not too big of a deal. Photographer, probably not so much, few hundred thousand, not too big of a deal. Insurance, multi-million. Lending, multi-million dollars. So you could have multiple streams, seven, eight, nine, 10 different businesses, all producing several million dollars in net income every single year by just starting off as a real estate agent, by just constantly, continuously expanding, and by the use of scale, by getting a lot of clients, you then start to bring all these trades in. So I want you to think about that. As we choose careers and as we go forward, very, very important you think about what can this job become? If you're going to be in the job for, a couple of years and you're out, great. But if you're thinking, I need to get a job to make the most money possible, and I'm really going to grind, I'm going to put a lot of work into it, the worst thing you can do is go into a career and then realize like you're butting up against the ceiling, going like, there's not really much I can do. Like I'm just a doctor. I could work more doctor hours, but that's it. Like I can't really do anything else. Like I can work 40 hours, I can work 60 hours, I can work 120 hours or whatever. In real estate, all of those businesses, I could be working 10 to 15 hours because I can hire people to do all of those. I don't necessarily need to be working, 700 hours to do all those types of things. So something to think about when choosing a career, choose wisely. Again, income is one of the most important factors when it comes to income, credit, leverage, and then investments for return on investment to build the generational wealth. Income, very important. So think a lot of it. Hopefully that makes sense.